This is another episode of Standup Comedy, your host and MC, celebrating 40-plus years on the fringe of show business. Stories, interviews, and comedy sets from the famous and not so famous. Here's your host and MC, Scott Edwards.
Hi, and welcome to this week's podcast. For this week's show, we're going back to our roots and doing another 3 stand-up comedy act show, very similar to what you would see if you went to a nightclub. 3 acts. However, instead of an opening act, feature act, and headliner, we're doing 3 of the best. All 3 of these guys are headliners in their own minds and performed many, many times on television, movies. We're always headlining at clubs. We're going to be seeing later on the Bulldog of Standup Comedy, Bobby Slayton. Also, the musical comedy of James Stevens III. But first, we're going to start off with one of my favorites, a true road comic, John Fox. Now, I have to tell you a couple things. First off, John was the definition of a road comic. If you went to any dictionary and looked up road comic, you'd see his picture. Man, this guy really worked it hard. He had sex with anything that moved. He did tons of drugs. He was drinking all the time. He had a gambling habit. He was a fun guy. But he was a great stand-up comic. Crowds always loved him. And he was a regular at the club for most of the 80s. You have seen him on TV. He was on Make Me Laugh. He was a regular on Showtime and also appeared in Rodney Dangerfield's HBO special. He is a very funny guy. Let's go ahead and hear his set, and then I'll come back with a quick story. So, ladies and gentlemen, road comic John Fox.
I live in Los Angeles. Anybody from Los Angeles? A couple people on vacation? Where are you from? Los Angeles? Somebody else? Where at? Fairfax. Ugh. It's a nice place to live. You're a muffler. It's a lot different in Sacramento, though, isn't it? Turn on the radio in Sacramento, you get news, weather, and sports. In Los Angeles, you get news, weather, sports, and the surf report. Right? You heard this on the radio. It's delivered by these kids with an IQ level about a grade lower than bean dip. These kids come out like, this is Scott in Santa Monica. Party! Waves are 3 to 4 feet, and they're really radical. So come on down and catch some rays. I heard things in Newport. This is Gookie in Newport. Party! The waves are 3 to 4 feet, and they're almost primo bitchin'. So come on down and catch some rays. I heard things in San Francisco. This is Charles from San Francisco. The waves are so gnarly. When it gets this rough, my nipples get real sore. And my balls get real swollen. It just scares me. So why don't you just come on down and catch some rays? Or some Bills or some Rogers. Sometimes I think I do that too good, you know? You never see black guys surfing at the beach. I'd like to hear a surf report from Oakland. Be like, say, baby, this is Tyrone. The waves out here about 9-10 feet. These waves will kick your ass. That's right. I was out there yesterday like one of these old bleached out white dudes, you know. Fell off my board and lost my radio. Damn. Dan Rather told me that joke. You look familiar. You ever do this? You ever see somebody you know and you're not sure what their name is? Like you know their name is Dick. Or Rick. Or Nick. Try and bluff your way through and call him Ick. Bob, this is Ick. You remind me of my brother. He's an asshole. The only person with worse credit than me is my brother. He's a financial disaster. He might be here now. Every family has a financial disaster. We voted my brother. He's a winner. My brother needs a co-signer when he pays cash. You call my brother up. He has an answer phone, a phone mate. Some of you have phone mates. You call my brother and his phone mate goes, "Okay, this is Tommy. I'm really sorry about the checks, all right? Don't be sneaking around the bushes because I'm not home. I swear to God." He tries to borrow money from me. Right? "John, let me $100, and I swear to God." I'm thinking, what kind of collateral is this? How often do you see a bank manager at his desk go, "Well, I'll tell you, you got no real or personal property here. You swear to God? As long as you don't make me cross my heart, I think we got a deal here. I'll tell you that." That's kid stuff. I have a little kid, a little boy. Took my boy the other day to see Snow White. Because I think it's very important for a kid to see the classics, like Gone with the Wind, Ben-Hur, Porky's. Who would name their kid Porky? It's like naming your son Meatloaf or something, isn't it? The rock and roll star Meatloaf. There's a father with a sense of humor, huh? This is my son, Meatloaf. Our daughter, mashed potatoes. And the dog, Bob. Took my little boy to see Snow White. Now, for those of you people in this audience who have never taken a child to see a Sunday afternoon matinee, you're all going to do it. Some of you probably already have. Let me set the scene so the rest of you know what you're in for. The big moment comes, ladies and gentlemen. Sunday afternoon, 1 p.m., we're in the station wagon. We're headed for the mall. I'm already pissed. No, we're not seeing Deep Throat. Now sit down! We get to the mall. We buy our tickets. I walk into the theater. I look around. And I realize that there's 3 billion kids. And 2 dads. And they're both singing jujubes off the bottoms of their shoes. Very, let me reiterate just one more time. Very sentimental part of the film, ladies and gentlemen. Snow White is laying there asleep. The music's playing. The dwarves are crying. Little birds are crying. Little squirrels are crying. 2 dads are crying. In comes Prince Charming. Walks up to Snow White, lifts up her head, is just about ready to kiss her. I'd say, "Relax!" And my boy stands up and yells, "Go for it!" Party!
That was a great set by John Fox, a regular headliner at Laughs Unlimited through most of the 80s, and a guy that went on to perform at clubs across the country and was a regular in Las Vegas, did a little bit of television, and a very funny guy. And as I mentioned, just a real hard-playing, hard-acting stand-up comic. Offstage, he had his issues with gambling. He drank a bit, but he was also a bit of a drug user. And my quick story to share with you was one time in the early 80s, cocaine was very popular in the entertainment set, and I had come backstage, and John was there doing some coke, which, by the way, I didn't allow in the club, and he was chastised verbally for bringing drugs into the club. But initially, he saw me come in, picked up a spoon of cocaine, and did everything he could to get me to try it. He literally chased me around the green room with this spoon of coke, saying, "Come on, it won't kill you. Come on, don't be a wuss. Come on, take it, take it." I've never been and never will be a drug user, but I'll never forget the interesting feeling of being chased around the green room by a spoon of coke. So John Fox was always good for a laugh, and I hope you enjoyed his set. So let's get ready for our next headliner. He's a very talented musician and comic. He does impressions, music, and comedy and work clubs all over the country. You may recognize him from TV and movies. He was a regular on the Dana Carvey show in the early 2000s and also appeared in a couple movies since then. one called The Edge and one called Until Karen. Ladies and gentlemen, sit back and enjoy the comedy of James Stevens III.
Ray Charles is the only guy I know who mastered country and western music. Country and western music. I do a little country and western music myself, so. Find this redneck button on this thing. Come on, boys, you know where you are. We'll pour me another cup of coffee. Come on, y'all. And there's the best in the land. Come on, you know the word. Then I'll put a nickel in the jukebox. Well, then we're gonna play the truck driver man. Y'all wanna hear one more? It don't make no difference. They all sound just like. He did a song with Patti LaBelle. You remember that tune, On My Own, Bound for People All Over the World? On the Bible say, oh, baby, oh, baby, on about the Santa Barbara, on about the Santa Barbara, on the Santa I can't believe it. I see all my favorite singers. See, all my favorite singers are on here, man. I was thinking, why didn't they have Prince on the show? So I see Prince would probably sing Why'd I Say a different way. See the girl with the red dress on. Oh, yeah, tell me what Now, you remember the old days now. I don't understand. I'm still trying to find out where Lionel Richie is. What happened to Lionel Richie? Hello. Well, you don't think I'm singing this, do you, Dr. Ruth? Yeah, I'm going to do Kermit the Frog singing the same tune. I can see it in your smile. I never wanted, and my arms are open wide. Really, tell me how to win your heart because I haven't got a clue.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that musical comedy of James Stevens III. He only worked my club one time in the 90s, but it was interesting to have him come through, and he did go on to do TV and movies, and it was a real pleasure to have him do a stopover at Laughs Unlimited. But now we're coming up to our closing headliner of this 3-headliner show. This guy started working for me in the early 80s and was one of the hallmark headliners for a couple decades. In fact, is still headlining clubs from coast to coast and is a regular in Las Vegas, New York, Los Angeles, you name it. He's done it all. He's also been seen a lot on TV, Showtime, HBO, Comedy Central. He's considered the Bulldog of stand-up comedy, Bobby Slayton. He's a very talented stand-up. He's done a couple movies. He was in Bandits. He was also in Dreamgirls. And you may also recognize him as a regular on Curb Your Enthusiasm, the TV show. Ladies and gentlemen, let's sit back and enjoy a little stand-up comedy by the Bulldog of Comedy, Bobby Slayton.
Thank you. I wasn't prepared for that introduction. I was going to come up here and do nice TV material, but now that I feel like I got like an image to live up to. And okay, now this is sort of off the top of my head, but I was driving here tonight. Now, there's a line around the block on Hollywood Boulevard for the new Muppet movie, okay? Now, Miss Piggy is also on the cover of TV Guide this week. Now, I hate to make fun of it, a revered institution in America, especially because so many people love the Muppets. But let me tell you something right now. Number one, I never found the Muppets to be funny. I don't like these little creatures. Okay, I don't see what the redeeming value is. And I mean, stop and think about it for a second. What exactly are Muppets? Mutant puppets. Muppets, okay? Puppets exposed to some kind of disease or radiation. Muppets, right? See, I'm living down in Hollywood now. I've been living in New York for a while, San Francisco, and I actually moved down here a while ago with my girlfriend. And my girlfriend went this week to the Schick Center to quit smoking. You've seen the ads on TV for the Schick Center? They shaved their lips off. Not smoking anymore. Okay. You know, it's like amazing. Now, anybody here, okay, now either you live here in L.A. or you're visiting, you've been to Hollywood, you've been to Hollywood Boulevard. I'll tell you something. New York, San Francisco, kooks, lunatics, weirdos all over the place. But I have never in my life seen a collection of people that walk the streets of Hollywood. I mean, you think it's like a giant outpatient clinic here. You know, it's like the Elephant Man could walk down Hollywood Boulevard and realize, well, maybe life isn't so bad after all. I could be like these people over here. You know, it's like the movie industry doesn't help things because they come up with these sick horror movies. The guy with the axes, prom night, you know, don't go in the house. He knows you're alone. Don't pick up the phone. Don't look in the basement. Don't go in the attic. Don't open the door, you know. He's walking on the beach. Don't go in the water. It sounds like my mother. Don't chew your food so fast, you know. Don't go to the prom with the boy down the street. He's killed before. He can kill again. You know. Don't do this. Don't do that. And these sick horror movies, okay, now, we go see these movies. We know this stuff's not real. But where do they show these films? They show them on Hollywood Boulevard to these people walking around. And to these lunatics, these films are documentaries. Well, they said political. See, I don't like to get political because that, you know, it touches a lot. And Reagan, everybody makes fun of him. But, you know, now, there's one thing, and this has to go on record. I got to say this. You take our President Ronald Reagan. Look at this man. Why does he have a haircut like Gumby? You know, he looks like Gumby. I've never seen a haircut. They're like up and down. It's the stupidest haircut I've ever seen in my life. I don't know. But I hear Reagan's coming out with a coin to honor black women in America. You hear about this? Susan B. Anthony and the Imperials, so make sure that it's And while I'm on the subject of music, you heard it here first. Could just be a rumor, but I hear Bob Dylan might be getting back together. So, you heard it here first. Oh, what else is going on? Well, like I said, I moved down from San Francisco. You know what's great about that city? I lived there with my girlfriend for a year, and they've got a pooper scooper law up there. You know, just put it down anyway. That's fine. That's good. So wait till I get to the punchline next time and then drop the glass, okay? Anyway, we were living up there. San Francisco, the pooper scooper law. You're all familiar with it. The $25 fine, you don't clean up after your dog. They actually enforce the law up there. Now, my girlfriend left town, leaves me to take care of her dog, and I didn't mind cleaning up after the dog. What I minded was the fact that I had to clean up after her dog, which was a Chihuahua. Okay? Now, the most vicious animals that have ever walked the face of the earth. Okay? I've tried to be nice to this dog for years. It's a horrible creature. Okay? You ever know anybody with a Chihuahua? I don't know where these dogs came from. It's like some Nazi scientist doing experiments in Brazil, you know. Mengele on acid, you know, one day. He decides we'll crossbreed a rat and a piranha. And that's what they're like. Anyway, the point of the story. I'm walking my girlfriend's dog. I didn't clean up after it. The cop comes up, gives me a ticket for not cleaning up after the dog. Now, number one, the cop is on horseback. Okay? All right? He's on horseback. This is true. And he's giving me a ticket for not cleaning up after this dog. Then, you had to be there for this. He gets off the horse, starts writing me out the ticket. The horse, right there, breaks the exact same law and smothers my girlfriend's dog. And not only was it a $25 fine, but the cop said, listen, pal, the next time we catch you, we rub your nose in it, huh?
Well, Bobby certainly had a way with words and always had that raspy voice and energy that kept every crowd going. Bobby Slayton was a longtime regular at my club, and it was always great to see him when we go way, way back. Hey, I want to thank you for listening to this week's show. I did want to mention a couple personal things. We do have a website, www.standupyourhostandmc.com. You can get access to all the other podcast on there. There's also some great photos from over the years. I call them comedy treasures. If you get a chance, check them out. And we do have a few items for sale. We're not generally working hard to raise money, but everything does help. And if we could sell a few items and help pay for the equipment and stuff, it would be nice. But I just wanted to make sure you knew that website was out there. So thanks for listening to our special 3-headliner show this week. If you enjoyed yourself, be sure to continue listening to other podcasts, share them, and rate them. If you didn't have a good time, keep your mouth shut. Thanks for being here. Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Stand-Up Comedy, Your Host and MC. For information on the show, merchandise, and our sponsors, or to send comments to Scott, visit our website at www.standupyourhostandmc.com. Look for more episodes soon and enjoy the world of stand-up comedy. Visit a comedy showroom near you.